Doing a little cooking outside today. We've got a nice bright sun. It's warm at the moment, and we've got ground beef curry. I'm using this particular mix, which isn't my favorite, but it's, what was available. And I'm about to put on some onions. About to mix them in here, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I am also doing this without a great stand, so this is kind of a little bit of a challenge. So I'm going to hold this here. We also have some jalapeno peppers, as well as some garlic powder and some tomatoes. So when I'm at the store next, I'm actually going to have to stock up on just a variety of tomato-based related things for this winter, from tomato paste, tomato sauce, diced tomatoes. This was a can of stewed tomatoes. I have a little box here where I keep all the things of this nature. This is the box that my Mr. Buddy Heater came in. I'm actually watching a documentary on Gnostic thought right over here. I highly recommend. Check out Gnostic's Knowledge of the Heart. It's a really interesting video about this ancient knowledge that our society has forgotten about. Over the years, I've really enjoyed different types of stir fries and baking breads. Really want to get better, as I've said before, at making pizza, also pancakes. Maybe get like some sort of an off-the-grid waffle machine. I figure I'm going to let this go for about... I'm going to let it cook normal, longer than normal. Maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Really let the flavors get in the meat. Let me show you how much sauce I used here. It's recommended you use a few tablespoons. Here we go. I took the knife, my big knife, and just took a scoop out of there. So, this is actually the first meat dish in 7 days. I'm paying for my food with cash. I'm cutting back on certain things, eating more potatoes, and things like oatmeal, the basics. I really would like to get a local source of eggs in the area. So when it's wintertime, I don't have to go all the way into town or Alamosa. I want to be able to access local foods in this particular area. Somebody asked about honey. If I was with someone out in the woods somewhere, a professional, someone that has already skinned a deer, then that's one thing, but I'm not going to be attempting amateur hunting on my own where I'm currently staying. It's peaceful here, and it's going to remain peaceful here. But cutting back on meat consumption, especially processed red meat, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. But here I am 7 days later, I'm not really craving this. But I'm really going to enjoy this. But yeah, when I do eat meat, I want to enjoy it. So I've thrown a lot of things in here. I'm really going to let this cook for a period of time, really let the flavors set in and take my time eating it. Maybe make a quinoa dish in addition to this. And we'll be back in the future with other videos. I'm really excited about the camp oven that I've got. I'll show you this real quick. Camp oven from Coleman. I bought this specifically for making mini pizzas. It's also excellent for making cookies. So here we have this. Okay. These are quick little do-it-yourself packets, but I've also gotten other basic ingredients. I've got a couple pounds of sugar right here. And then I've also got about 10 sticks of butter. And I probably can use some extra olive oil. I totally stay away from that Crisco stuff. And if I could afford it, I would have a bunch of peanut oil and sesame oil. And at some point, I'm going to get more stuff. I'm going to get back to cooking with the wok. But, yeah, that's Alex Ansari's kitchen for you. You can see here the oils.
And this internal dialogue on the saying becomes that person's dialogue with the Savior. They seem to have a
And one thing I really enjoyed about the city was going to the Indian buffet. You know, and getting the beef vindaloo or chicken vindaloo or something to that effect, and the flatbread and the rice. I was exposed to some of that food when I visited my father, who I didn't really grow up with as a young man. I just visited him. I really lived with my mother. But one thing that I can really say about that culture is the food really stood out. The flavors, things of that nature, and that's one part of our aspect of our society or our culture that sometimes is neglecting. Cooking our own food, thinking outside the box of Taco Bell, McDonald's. And so when things get difficult for people economically and they find themselves in the American refugee experience, those are really the times to recenter on food and be grateful for the things that we have. Because we're definitely not living the same experience as those that are, say, being pushed into Germany right now from Syria. I mean, that's a serious refugee experience. For people in America, even if you feel like you've been racially discriminated against, there's still a lot more to be grateful for and a lot more we have going for us. So as difficult as things can be, remember what we're know what we can be grateful for, our lives. The fact that we can access food. And so sometimes when you have less money to spend, and especially if you're choosing to live outside the box of government dependency, then what you can afford to eat, you appreciate it that much more. You have a closer relationship to your food. Even if you may not be growing all your food and it may be coming from somewhere else, still. And also, there's also the power of thought, being appreciative for the food, and some people pray over their food and believe that it can have an effect on the food if there's something harmful in it. And I do believe in the power of thought. This meat has actually been through a lot before it came to this pan here. And I acknowledge that, and also, that plays a role in why I'm going more and more periods without meat. Having said that, I will bring this video now to a close. If you have any recipes you'd like to share, especially for the Coleman Camp Oven, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section.